If y'all are watching, you already see there's three of us here. We got Sean in the room. This is going to be season 2, episode 12, season 2 finale. Guys, got through 2 seasons. I think that deserves a big pat on the back for all of us. Grateful to have you guys here as always. It's kind of cool to get to meet with y'all every week. Like, I swear, y'all want to be close to somebody, start a business with them. You're going to talk to them almost every day. But anyways, I'll stop running my mouth. What's up, Brooke? What's up, Sean? How are y'all doing?
Just happy to be here. Just hanging in there,
No, excited. 3 seasons going into the 3rd season for the next episode. I'm excited just to chop it up with you guys and talk about where we are, obviously, as a podcast, as a network. And there's just so many conversations going on in the vegan space right now. Every single month, it's something different. So to be able just to kind of wrap it up and see where things could potentially be going and have those conversations, I feel like that's going to be a great thing for us to do.
Awesome. So I took the time to write out a perfect script for this episode and email it to both of you. Did you get it?
Hold on, let me check my junk folder.
That would be so out of line for us.
That would be weird. The day that happens, somebody's hacked my email and stolen my identity. We're just gonna talk about what's important to us. I think what's really cool about this podcast is, one, we've given ourselves a voice. So I like to hear myself talk. I do it a lot. But I know Sean has some really big missions for the world, for veganism, for everyone. Brooke, you're a huge inspiration. So getting your platform out there. But then we have all these guests on and get to give them a spot to speak. And I'll say this. I will give us, I can't prove this. I don't have any data here. But I'm pretty sure every guest that's come on here has walked away feeling good about themselves. And that makes me happy because we've had, I'm not going to single anybody out, but we've had some awesome people on here. And I think sometimes people that are high achievers, they don't always take time to stop and smell the roses and find out, hey, I've actually done something. So we kind of get a chance to let them know how they're doing. But I digress. I just wanted to get that out there.
It's a different kind of flow too. I feel like we try to just have people come on and hang out, and we get to know them. It would be like if we all just met up and got coffee together versus like, we're going to come on and interview you, like it's CNN or something. Sometimes I feel like that when I go on podcasts, it's like I get kind of nervous, and I have a little bit of anxiety, but I feel like we kind of bring just like a chill atmosphere. Like it's just fun. It's just people hanging out, which I've really enjoyed.
Yeah, it's like we're literally just getting paid to hang out as soon as we monetize this. But you go on a podcast sometimes. Okay, question 1, question 2, question 3. And it's almost like you're being interrogated, not interviewed. So I like it like this. So Sean, tell us how it's been for you, man. Two seasons in the back room, having to watch us talk and not being able to tell us to shut up. How's that been? I don't even know what that's like, to be honest.
No, it's great because it's like it's the ultimate way to listen to a podcast. Being able to, that private chat is everything. So kind of insert myself into the episode every once in a while with a comment. And I feel one of the things as a producer behind the scenes is we want to bring that experience to our community as well. So we're working on a few things for the podcast in season 3. One of them being, and I guess this is an announcement, a major announcement, and future episodes, we're going to be answering listener questions. So we've made it super easy for you to go to veganswholiftpodcast.com and click a button, and then on your phone, you can leave a voicemail message, decide to leave your name or don't leave your name. If you run a business, highly suggest you shout out your business. So we're putting it on our podcast. And then Brooke and John will answer the questions right on the podcast. So that's something we want to bring to every single episode, as well as launching communities. And I'll talk a little bit more about this in a bit, because I know we do want to do our wins. I'll talk about what the community was going to look like We have multiple communities of Vegans Explore that we're going to be launching by the time you hear this podcast. And one of them is featuring John. So we're excited to talk a little bit about that and just a whole bunch of things. But I'm going to yield, and I'm excited to hear you guys' wins, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah. We will get to the wins. I'm gonna interject one more time before we get there. Sean, I do want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. This podcast probably would have happened eventually without you. Brooke and I had already mentioned it, but we had no clear goal, no clear strategy. We didn't know what to call it. Even though we had made our Vegans Who Live Facebook page. If you guys are on Facebook, go check us out there. We post some memes and things like that. But it was Sean's vision that got this started, and almost like, you know, a great coach that's worked with 100 athletes before, he just found another couple good athletes and knew what to do to make this happen. So in this case, he's run a lot of podcasts and done a lot of things behind the scenes for other people, including himself, and gave that to me and Brooke. So I don't think I didn't have this whole system laid out, episodes, seasons, dates. I don't know how to make it look all pretty like you got it here. Like there's a lot of things that you do besides directly supporting us that just would have been really hard to do without you. So thank you, sir. It's been a wild, fun ride.
And I want to, first of all, I receive all of that and I appreciate that. And what I also want to say about the two of you is I have never had clients like you guys before. I consider you clients, I consider you friends, but I'm speaking strictly from a client perspective. And what I mean by that is I've never seen two individuals outside of myself. I've never seen two other individuals work so hard for what they love. And it's one thing to have a business, it's one thing to be a content creator, but then to be able to be behind the scenes, not just on the podcast, but on a lot of the things that you do, and see how hard you're working and how dedicated you are and the energy that you bring to it. And it's collaborative. And, you know, you've given me the model of the type of people I want to work with. And moving forward in this space, mission driven, check, 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 check. So I can't say enough about that. And just to see the content and the things that you guys talk about, everyone gets to listen to this podcast. Bodybuilder or vegan, it doesn't matter. I feel like you guys are setting the example. So kudos to the both of you. And yeah, I'm excited for what season 3 is going to bring to the world.
Oh, that's great. I know I made a post the other day and I was like, I'm a great coach because I have great clients. And really that is so important, because you can have all the skills and all the knowledge, but people have to execute it. And I think we all just work really well together too. And I've had business coaches and other mentors in the past, but they weren't exactly like the right fit for me. But I feel like our energies are all just kind of the same. We're all just kind of, you know, good vibes, chill vibes always. And yeah, it's been great. And like John said, like we wanted to do the podcast. We had in our mind, like, this will be so much fun. Like, you know, we have so many things we could talk about, but this was like a whole production, and definitely, I don't know if it would have been this awesome without you.
Appreciate that.
I don't know who we would have had to replicate what you've done, because I mean, we could have found another great producer, but you're also vegan. You're in the scene. You know all the people. You have the connections. There's a reason why we had Robert Cheek's phone number for pretty much our first guest ever. Like, and shout out Robert. His book just dropped. Y'all go get The Impactful Vegan. Sneak peek. I'm gonna be doing a giveaway next week. We're gonna be giving out 3 of them. But yeah. And you know what? I will say, we've got some hardworking people on this podcast. I really don't know many other people that work as hard as us, and not just like digging ditch hard, like doing hard shit just to do hard shit, but doing hard, strategic, impactful, meaningful things. If by the time we go, whenever our time comes, if we get, you know, as long as it's not immediately sudden and we're bleeding out, or we're just taking our last breath, whatever it is, I don't want to go instantly. I want to have a moment to reflect. And and sit back and just kind of be like, it's over, but I fucking did it. And I think at our current line, any of us can say that. And so now we just got to keep this up until we die. So let's fucking do it, y'all. I appreciate you guys. This is exciting. So, all right, now we can go to wins of the week. Sorry.
Wins
Who's got
of the
there?
week.
Wins of the week. All right, who's starting?
Not me, because I've talked too much. Brooke, you
All right, you want to go, Brooke?
I can start. Yeah, sure. I would say my win for the week is honestly just a personal win. So I'm in prep, as everybody knows. But I've kind of been stuck for the past few weeks, which normally probably mentally would have just driven me crazy. I would have been frustrated. I would have just felt like, pretty much F it. And it would have affected like my entire day and my how productive I am, my presence on social media. And like for the first time in a really long time, I just haven't let that get in the way of my day and my outlook and my mood. And I haven't felt like, oh, well, this is all for nothing then, which is kind of how I used to feel. And and it's like, I don't feel like a failure. I don't feel like pressure on myself. I don't beat myself up for it like I used to. I've just kind of felt like, okay, well, that's fine. I'm still doing all I can do. And I'm happy with that. Like, I'm happy that I'm 100% showing up and, still executing. And it's a lot. It's a lot for me. Like 15,000 steps a day is a lot for me. I hate running. And now my coach has me running, which was another win this week. I hate running. Oh my God. But I've done it this week, 4 days this week, and I'm really proud of myself. And my food, I have super low food right now and it's not easy. Watching my boyfriend last night, we were sitting here and he's literally got the Oreos open, the whole box, eating them. And I like wasn't even tempted. I didn't even care, like didn't even want to bite one. So I would just say like a lot of personal mental wins for me this week is just being okay that I'm not seeing the scale go down and being okay that like I may have to pick a different show and that's okay with me. And before, like 2 years ago when I first started competing in 2022, I would have been crying. I would have been like so frustrated. And now it's like it just doesn't feel like a big deal. Like it's like, well, I was going to compete in August. That's obviously not going to happen, but maybe October, and I would be okay with that. And I'd be even okay with November. So it's just been a mental health win for me, I would say this week, just kind of being easy on myself, not beating myself up for things I really can't control when I'm doing 100% what I should be doing and I'm executing my plan. So yeah, that would be my win this week.
Hell yeah, dude. People don't realize the mental changes that have to take place for the physical changes to take place. So when we compare your 2 years ago to probably about 2-3 months from now, people will be like, oh my God, she changed her body so much, but they don't see that internal change, that love for yourself, that kindness to yourself when things are rough. We check off all the boxes that we have control over, but the rest we just kind of have to let the universe take its course. And so that's awesome. That's huge. That's a big sign of mental strength, and I'm proud of you for being there. Yeah.
Aw, don't make me cry. Yeah, I'm proud of me too because I've always done that, and it's just like for the first time I'm like, I don't care because I'm happy. Like I have a really good life. I have so many things, that I'm excited about, things I'm working on with Sean and you too, John, and just I just have so many other awesome parts of my life that it's like, if it happens, cool. If it doesn't, not a big deal. I'm not a failure just because my body's not responding the way I want it to. I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. So yeah, thanks. But yeah, what about you guys? What's your win?
I'll go real quick. We'll see if it's real quick. I'm viewing myself, the bodybuilding vegan, like my ego, not John Thomas, but the public side of me, as more of a business now and less of an individual. And so mostly that means I'm getting help. maybe not the kind of like mental or psychological help that I need, but I'm getting physical help from multiple people. I have brought a few more people onto my team. So what that basically means is I have some people helping me create content. I don't spend as much time editing stuff. I relate to you, Brooke. I love editing. I love being funny with videos. It's just one more thing on the list. And a lot of people can edit, but not everybody can coach vegan bodybuilders. So it's like I should double down on the things I'm good at. Working behind the scenes, I finally got my butt kicked into gear with Sean. We'll talk a little bit more about what that means coming up here, but basically creating ways to put myself in more places at once. Having kind of like the J3 University style course where intermediate to advanced vegan or non-vegan lifters can go and learn about nutrition, learn about training, get some footage and clips from me directly. And that can service a lot of people all at once, whereas my coaching is mostly one-on-one. So that's cool. Gotten a couple people to help me with like outreach and some minor things on Instagram, helping promote the podcast, things like that. And then also, I just got this in the mail the other day. I don't know if you can see it because my microphone's in the way, but
I
it says
saw it. I thought
vegan,
that was funny.
vegan motherfucker. And I reached out to the guy that sent it to me, and he's like, "Hey man, I want to make shirts for you." And I was like, "All right, I'm game. Like, you already sent me a cool one. Let's see what we can do." And I said, "You know what I really need though, because I can make shirts. I have connections there. What I want are some vegan booty shorts." And it's literally like kind of like girls like running shorts that say vegan booty across the back. And like I'm gonna wear that to the gym and set some PRs in it. And I know male or female, they're gonna look. Guys are gonna send it to their girlfriends. Girlfriends and girls are just gonna buy them. So, and I'm still gonna donate everything to animal charities. But like, I'm excited to have vegan booty shorts. So we got that in the works. Anyway, it's just another way to promote. Like, we all get the opportunity to be a vegan billboard. Not everybody has to get the head tattoo, but everybody can wear the shirt or the vegan booty shorts. So y'all stay tuned on that. I'll have those out here shortly. I'll send you a pair, Brooke. You'll be taken care of. Sean, we're gonna have to see if we can do one size too.
Nice.
And that's my multiple wins for the week, and I'll defer to Sean.
Nice. Yeah, so as far as my wins, I guess my big win is just getting to be where I am right now. I'm currently in Los Angeles, one of my favorite places in the world. I feel like the energy out here for what I'm up to is perfect. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's the desert. I don't know if it's this part of the world, the frequency, but I feel I'm where I need to be, and it doesn't need to be forever. So I'm getting a lot done out here, especially for Vegans Explore, which I'm going to talk about a little bit after the wins. Also in relation to some of the stuff John mentioned in terms of seeing yourself as a business. I feel like I want to dig a little bit deeper into that conversation, the good and the bad part about that, especially for people who may be going through that journey themselves, because there's a lot that I'm learning in that aspect. And I guess that's another win. I feel like every day, different things that are happening that I might have looked at as being like a bad situation or something negative, I'm starting to see the gifts in it. And not from a woo-woo sort of place, but just like, okay, here's the lesson. This is why this keeps showing up for me time and time again, because it's a lesson that I need to learn in order to advance to the next level. So I feel like being able to see those things happen and immediately be like, get a shift and be like, oh, boom, that's what I was missing. And then add it and then continue moving forward. I feel it's key, especially when you're taking on some hard things and you're stepping out of your comfort zone. That is the comfort for me of being to say to myself, and you probably have it all over you, John. I know you have it all over you. This too shall pass, you know, and you've got the answer. Like all those things are so resonant, and things that I get to say to myself as we're building these things that are huge. You know, everybody, like you mentioned, everybody in this room right now, up to huge things. I can attest to that because I'm, behind the scenes with you guys. But there's some huge things on the way for the community as a whole, and I'm excited to dive a little bit deeper into that today.
Awesome, man. I love your continued presence. You're an example for us. And Brooke, you're an example here too, being able to share, like literally leading from the front, showing how you're going to love yourself and take care of yourself. Other people can see you do that and be like, well, I can do it too. So Sean, same with you. You said your win is getting to be here right now. And me personally, I sometimes get caught up in the future and I forget where I'm at right now. So I love that you help bring me back in. I don't even know if you always realize it, but you're constantly an example for me.
That's it.
I saw an awesome quote on Facebook, I think yesterday. And it was, hold on, I have it saved. Give me 1 second. It's, remember when you wanted what you currently have. So freaking good. I saved it because I was like, I'm going to make this my wallpaper. It's a good reminder.
Yeah. Time goes by so quickly. It's like you forget when you were like, yeah, I think I saw your post. I saw it today or yesterday. And it was like, oh, I remember when, I'm not going to say the amount, but I remember when I was making a certain amount and I'm like, oh, I can't wait. I can't even imagine what it'd be like to make this. And it's like, I far surpassed that. And it's just like, hold on, let me smell the roses a little bit. I'm making advances as a professional. But the thing they don't teach you or tell you is that it's never like, all right, I'm satisfied. I mean, especially if you're a high achieving person, it's like you just reached a new plateau and you got to go past that. Hear me trying to sound like I'm in the health and fitness world, but you have a plateau and you go past that, and you just got to keep pushing that because if you're not pushing and getting outside of your comfort zone, and I feel like a lot of this goes into the mental side of things. A lot of people work out their bodies, work out, but I feel the mental is so important and being able to understand how you operate because there is no human guidebook of how to be a human because it's a personalized experience. But what you can do is you can get to know yourself and use the tools to know yourself. And I feel like me being able to have done that has allowed me to, even now I'm learning something new. Like 2 to 3 days ago, I decided a new way of kind of seeing the world, and that's to boldly declare who I am to the world. And I'm boldly declaring to everybody listening right now who I am. And after I do that, I'll explain why I do that. I am the number one vegan brand strategist in the world. That's who I am. Now, my job as a brand strategist is to position myself so when you hear that, there's not a disconnect. When someone introduces me as that, it's like, oh, I could see that. That's my job now. So as a brand strategist with Brooke and with John, I get to say to them, who are you? As boldly as I just declared who I am. And this is just, I'm using John and Brooke, not specifically because I work with them, but just because they're in the room, but listening right now. Ask yourself, who are you? Without limitations. Who's that ultimate level, Super Saiyan level 10 version of yourself? What is that title? So people can understand. It's great for it to be in your head and for it to be, cloudy, but how can people recognize what that is with a simple title? And now the work you get to do is to work towards that. And I feel like if that, to me, I brought that up because I just kind of crystallized that for myself. And it's now like, okay, what is that? Who is that? First of all, who is that right now in terms of my title? I don't know. So that immediately tells me there's a huge opportunity there for me to take that space or for me to always work towards that goal. And then ask the other question, why is that important? And that to me shows the intention. I'm not just doing it because I think I'm better than other people out there. I'm doing it because in order for us to execute the things that we're doing with Vegans Explore in terms of building a global vegan community, I get to step into that role. Because my job now is to pull in all the vegan businesses, every single vegan business, every nonprofit, every community leader, and provide them with the foundation, the resources, the access, the network that they can do their jobs easily. And in order for me to do that on a global level, I need to be the best at it. And that's always going to be work that I get to do. It's never going to end. So that's just something I wanted to get off my head.
Well, you certainly helped me make my life easier. It's like I just know I can come to you with an idea. I'm not going to leak my idea yet because I really am excited about this one and I want it to be a big surprise. But I had an idea that I've wanted to create for several years. And I just immediately like, oh, well, Sean is going to know exactly what to do with this. So I'll just wait for our next call and ask him, what his thoughts are. And we literally created a game plan. So it's very helpful as a business owner having you to bounce ideas off of, and you have the resources. So if it's like, hey, I want to add this to my website. So that's a great example that I can actually talk about. I wanted to add a different way of checking in for my clients because my check-ins suck and they are so time consuming, people having to like copy and paste their check-ins. So I wanted just a really easy, nice online form and be able to collect and save that data. And I'm like, Sean would know exactly how to do this. And it makes my life easy because before I would have had to go on Upwork. I would have had to go hire someone on there, like vet them, look at their previous work. I've hired people before. I haven't been super satisfied with the job they've done. And then it's like all that back and forth. Whereas like, I just pretty much give you my idea. You work with your team and then you deliver it. And it's so easy. So yeah, I mean, I definitely feel like, this will be great, especially because you're vegan too, and your team is supporting the vegan plant-based movement, and really that's what we need. And I like that we all kind of support each other. Like if you want, so like having a vegan brand manager to me, like you, is just it's just so much better. One, the community, how to market to the vegan community. It's just different versus somebody from the outside. So yeah, just another way that we can all continue supporting each other and helping each other because we need more than just vegan athletes. We do. We need more. We need vegan brand managers. We need vegan book publishers. We need vegan software developers. We need vegan graphic design artists. We need all of these people. And if we all work together, the possibilities are endless and we can all be successful.
Couldn't have said it better ourselves.
I agree 100%. I want to say that vulnerability is strength. And what you just demonstrated, Sean, like giving yourself that title and then saying, this is the work I'm going to have to do to actually make everybody in the world know it. That's scary. Like I'm sitting here trying to think of my title while you're talking. And I'm like, I don't know. I'm scared to say something. Scared to maybe fall short of like where I actually want to be. So I like this. It's the mindset. This is the right mindset that you need to have to change the world. So very
John,
grateful.
your title is going to be the #1 vegan prep coach in the world.
Oh wow. I think I could work towards that. Yeah. Especially I'll take that title pretty much right now for enhanced lifters. I know there are a good number of other vegan prep coaches out there for the natural guys, but not so many for the enhanced lifters. That's a big title.
That's a big title.
And I sincerely appreciate you saying that. I kind of built up my ego a little bit. If I was forced to pick a title, at least where my heart wants to be, I'd want to be the most influential vegan. Simply because not for me, I don't care about me. I want to bring more kindness to the world. I want to end factory farming. I want there to be a future, not just for the human species, but for other species. And I'm not going to lie. I don't know what it is. I'm going to go off on a tangent here. I hope that's okay. I know I talk a lot.
Go for it.
this is where I've been at recently. When I went vegetarian at 10 and vegan at 13, I was so young. I wasn't very sure of who I was for the world. I would not have dressed like this. I don't think childhood version me, it would just blow that kid's mind to see what I look like now. Like, oh my God, they're gonna make fun of you. Your hair, tattoos, what? Like even at like 27, I didn't want tattoos. So I've completely changed. But I was scared when I made those decisions, scared for how people would look at me and for how I would be judged. And I think a lot of people, when they first go vegan, they're angry, at least when they are ethically vegan. Um, they're angry that this is happening. They're angry that they discovered it. They're angry that they were lied to, that these animals have wonderful lives out on a peaceful farm before they're humanely slaughtered. How do you humanely slaughter your mom? I don't know. Like, there's no way to humanely slaughter anything, but what's going on right now is nothing short of just torture. And I never got angry for a long time. I just kind of was scared. I didn't want people to know. I felt like I was doing my part. Recently, I've been kind of leaning into that anger. I am angry that this is happening. I'm angry that we have social media. This isn't the 40s or the 50s. There were people going vegan back in the 40s after the Holocaust because they got to see what it was like to be inside a cattle car. And they're like, that was horrible for me. I would never do that to another being, human or otherwise. But that was all before social media. Now we have the info. We know what this is like, and it makes me angry. And to the point where I'm starting to have some like mental days where I'm just getting frustrated. Like, why are we not changing faster? Why is this still happening? Why don't people care? To the point where I'm having dreams where I'm at a slaughterhouse watching animals die, and like waking up from that and being so frustrated. And so now I kind of get those people that when they first went vegan, they were angry, and then maybe after a while they got complacent and just kind of, oh, I'm just vegan. And I think I saw this from Robert Cheek's book or something related to that, but like going vegan saves about 200 animals a year, which is great. But we need to be more than that. All of us do. Anybody that's vegan for the animals, it would be like standing by while there's a war going on or while there's genocide happening and saying, well, I don't agree with that, but I'm not going to do anything to stop it. All that it takes for evil to prevail is for good men or good women to do nothing. And so this is me on my little ethical rant soapbox, but I want to be that change. I want to do anything I can before I die to swing the needle in the right direction. And so when I say I want to be influential as a vegan, it's not like I want to make money from it or I don't want big things for myself. I want more kindness out in the world. And so I don't even know how I got down this track, but it's just been something that's been keeping me up at night sometimes lately. And I'm grateful to be around people like you that are making a difference. And to encourage anybody listening to this, I was a scared kid for a long time, but I also had that power. I just didn't know it. I hadn't flexed those muscles yet, not the physical ones, but the activist ones. And that's really what I feel this year I've leaned into, and it's the most it's ever felt like me in my whole life at 31. So I don't know where I started that, but that's where I'm going to finish it.
Yeah, it's tough. I was definitely angry when I first went vegan. Especially when I first saw like all the slaughterhouse footage. And to me, it's almost like the news. I don't watch the news because it just makes me angry. And I'll just go about my whole day like thinking about, I don't know, people who are suffering. Like, as bad as this is, all the stuff that's going on in Gaza and Israel, I had to turn myself off to it because what can I do about it? I can't do anything about it. Politics, I used to be super into politics and what the Republicans were doing, what the Democrats were doing, and all of the parties and whatever. And it's just like, it would just cause me so much stress. It would cause me so much anxiety. And like, truly, truly, what can I do about it? Really, not much. And it's like you just have to focus on one of my favorite things, one of my favorite quotes, and it kind of applies to bodybuilding. That's actually where it came from. But control the controllables. I'm sure you guys have heard that one. And it's like the same thing with veganism, because I feel like the reality is nobody's going to go vegan overnight. It's going to be a long process. it could take several decades, and we just have to focus on what we can control, so it doesn't consume us, and so it doesn't cause more stress and more frustration that we don't really need. And we just have to focus on the people around us and the moves that we can make individually that can make a difference. And I feel like we're doing that. I mean, it's just absolutely crazy, even in the time that I've been vegan, and I haven't even been vegan as long as you, John, how much has changed. And so, like, sometimes I do get frustrated because it's like we should have more people vegan by now, but we've come a long way. I mean, you just think about all the different types of plant milks there are now. And there used to not even be that many types of plant milk. Like, it's crazy. And creamer, like, I remember when you could only buy like one dairy-free coffee creamer. And now you have all these different options. I just saw a post this morning about some famous bullfighter in Colombia. His statue was torn down, and bullfighting was eradicated in Colombia now. So there's no more animal suffering. So, you know, we have, of course, we have a long way to go, and it's even more than factory farming, unfortunately, right? So, like, we do have like stuff like that, like the bullfighting. God, I mean, what people are doing with animals. Like, I saw a terrible post yesterday on Facebook about dog fighting, and just all sorts of different animal suffering in the world. But I do feel like we've come a long way, and it's just all about like perspective sometimes. So I just try to focus on those things, and that really helps me. And I mean, really, we're doing a lot. I mean, between the three of us, like, holy shit. I mean, we're doing a lot for the vegan movement. I mean, you just think about all the people that listen to the podcast, who have worked with us one-on-one, these coaches that we've just put out through the academy, the people they will work with, our YouTubes, our Reddit posts. I mean, and we've been doing this for years now. So, I mean, it's limitless. We have no idea how many people we've impacted. So, and that's just in a few years, and we're going to be doing this the rest of our lives. You won't see us ex-vegans, that's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna make a change. You know, for once in my life, I'm gonna feel real good. I'm gonna make a difference. I'm gonna make it right. Unless I was just doing a callback from the last season where I said Whitney Houston lyrics, tied to what I was talking about. That was "Mad in the Mirror" by Michael Jackson. But honestly, that's how I feel. I feel like everything that we're talking about. Here's how I look at it, and I've thought about this for a while, for maybe a few years now. The way that I get to make a difference is I start with myself. I do the work on myself. I get clear on where I'm coming from, because a lot of times when we see it in the vegan movement, people want to make a difference. They want to communicate how they feel, but instead of communicating change or communicating a positive, making a positive difference, they're communicating their anger, they're communicating their trauma, and that is unenrolling people into what they want to create. And I feel like once you do the work on yourself and you can heal some of that stuff, because a lot of that is even having to do with the animals. A lot of that is traumas from other things that we've been programmed, that's been programmed into us at an adolescent age. And it's being manifested through what they're feeling for the animals.
So true.
And it's in order to get to a place like that, you need to do the work. And however you do that, your therapist, that's the most conventional way of doing it, but there's other ways of doing it. And once you're aware of that, then you have the ability to then the next level. It's like you're looking at this as a circle. It starts with you. The next ring outside of that would be your inner circle, your family, your friends, the people you spend the most time with, making a difference in their lives, supporting them, being a voice, being a sounding board, whatever you can do to make sure that they're good. Because guess what? If they're not good, it's going to quickly bring you back to a space where you're not good, because those are people you care the most about. So once you're able to control your circle and have people be in a great position, then you can move out to the community that's around you and then start making an impact there. Because if your community's suffering, you're going to see that on a day-to-day basis. And that's going to make it hard for you to be able to support the next ring which is the world outside of your community. And I feel like being able to be that magnet or being that gravitational force that pushes out this higher vibration and pushes out these new thoughts, the piece that's not discussed enough is the communication. And I talk about Vegans Explore being about marketing and being about, helping businesses figure out how to share their message, but really it's all about effective communication. It's, as an activist, how you get your message across so that way it lands with somebody. As a business owner, how do you promote your business in all types of times? It's easy to promote your business when things are going great and there's a boom, but what about when we're in the middle of a pandemic and people are locked inside of their house? Do you have a plan for that? And I feel like there's people out there that are doing it well. But are their stories being told? Can people get access to that information? And then learning from those, how do you create a plan that other people can adopt? Because no matter what you're doing, you're a bodybuilder, you're a fitness expert, you're an animal rights activist, the thing that we all have in common is we're running a business, we're running an organization, nonprofit, for-profit, whatever. The business is a collection of systems and processes that you can duplicate over time. I make that definition up. It sounds right to me. And a part of that is connecting to your audience, connecting to your customers, connecting to the people that you're serving. And that's not something that we all have innately. These are skills that you can learn. And I think that the ones that are people who are able to succeed are the ones who have that gift, that natural ability to connect. And I feel like if you don't have that particular gift, you need to be aware that you get to learn it. I don't know, I kind of went off on a tangent there. I kind of lost the original point, but yeah, I just wanted to share that.
Thank you. Sometimes it's a lot. I think Brooke has the right idea. That was honestly the idea I had for a long time, Brooke. I was just like, well, I'm just going to focus on me and also, I feel like I have made a difference. I think what I'm realizing now is almost what Sean alluded to earlier is like, where's the end goal? Where do you see yourself, even if that's scary? And what are you willing to do to get there? And if somebody's listening to this and they're like, it upsets me with what's happening with the animals and I'm upset. It's like, well, what can you control? For me, it would have been speaking up a lot more, not in a negative way, but just in an informative way. Like when somebody says, why is it that big of a deal to drink milk? Like they don't hurt the cows. I'd be like, well, it's still not the cow's choice. Like that's not a very strong defense. I could go show them some factory footage of what happens to cows. I could even have that conversation. Like, what do you think happens once the milk stops being made? What about the forced pregnancies of the cows? What happens to their babies? Like I just could have been more educated about something that bothered me and spoke up more about it. So I want to empower anybody listening to that. Like, you don't have to look like me. I didn't always look like this. Even 15-year-old me was cognitively blessed enough to be able to have conversations like that. I just hadn't practiced it. I hadn't put it out there. So,
yeah, I do love that. I do love, Sean, that you said a lot of how we feel about the animals comes from some sort of like inner trauma or inner conflict or inner work we have to do. And truly, I really do feel that way about me being vegan because I've openly on the podcast been through abusive relationships and I've had a lot of trauma myself. And so I do, in a way, kind of relate to being like a voiceless animal that is just kind of subjected to what's going on around it. But I thought that was really insightful to think of it that way, that a lot of vegans probably resonate with the animals because of things that they've been through. But then also, like you're saying, that communication is huge. So your trauma is always valid, but like it's not an excuse to not be able to communicate with people properly. And I do think that there is kind of that block with some vegans, is that they have all those emotions and they're very passionate and they're very angry, but then also, like you said, John, like they're not educated, or they don't have the capacity to share their knowledge. And maybe it is maybe they are educated and maybe they have all the knowledge, but like you said, Sean, they don't know how to communicate that. They don't know how to communicate that where somebody can digest it without feeling judged, without feeling pressured, but instead feel enlightened and, you know, feel like they have a new insight and a new perspective. And it's like you said, you really have to do a lot of inner work to do that. You have to be like self-aware and realize, okay, well, maybe I'm not coming off in the best way possible. What is my goal here? My goal here is to, if it's create less animal suffering, you have to be able to communicate with people who don't see eye to eye with you to be able to effectively get to that goal. And you see that with politics all the time. Like, again, politics, you know, all these people have different points of view, and we've almost created this atmosphere now where it's like, if you're this one, you're bad. And if, you know, or if you're this one, you're bad. Like, neither one likes each other. And it's like, if you're on the other camp, the other people, they're just dumb or they're stupid or they're crazy or unrealistic or, you know, whatever it is. And it's like just because we don't agree, it means that we don't like each other almost, which is so immature, really, when you think about it. But that's kind of like the environment that it's created. And I see that within the vegan community sometimes. But it's even like carnivores and vegans. Like, it's I know they're total opposites, but it's like I had this person comment on my post the other day, and he was like going on some long vegan rant, and he was a little bit out there, probably a troll. But I'm like, I don't understand, like, why you're so angry on my post. Like, all I did was post about plant-based proteins. Like, I'm not telling you you have to be vegan. I'm not telling you you have to eat this stuff. I'm not telling you anything. You just came and left a rant on my page. And it's amazing to me that there's so many people who it's like, you think differently than I do. So that means I don't like you and you don't like me and we're automatically enemies. And that's just silly. It's not like that. In fact, most of us, if we didn't know somebody was a carnivore or somebody was a vegan, we might have a lot in common with these people, and they might actually, you know, not even think twice about our dietary choices and our ethical standpoint. So but I thought that was really insightful for you to say. And it's like, you have to be self-aware that you're coming off that way, and that you know, you're leaving that kind of impression, and then work on yourself to be able to communicate in a way that is compassionate, mature, understanding, so that you can actually use all the knowledge that you have. I haven't started the Impactful Vegan yet, but I'm sure Robert has some information in there, which I'm so glad, because I feel like there's so many different forms of activism now. And again, it's like some people think their way is the best way. And it'll be interesting to actually read the data and see what is the best way. But yeah, I think being able to communicate is the key when it comes to transitioning people, for sure.
Agree. Yeah. So, so how much time do we have left in the show?
Oh, we got 15.
Okay. I guess I'll talk a little bit about kind of what's next with the Vegans Explore Network, because the Vegans Who Lift podcast is part of this bigger network of podcasts that include the SoFlo Vegans podcast, which initially started off at over 100 episodes with that, but it's taken a long hiatus. But we're going to be bringing it back, rehashing some of the past episodes. We have episodes. We actually kicked off the podcast with Earthling Ed. Our second guest was Ingrid Newkirk, who's the co-founder of PETA. So we'll be remixing some of those podcasts and launching it in our next season for a lot of people who never heard the episodes before. A lot of great content to motivate you, to get you going. But then the season after that will be focusing mainly on leaders and prominent vegans in the South Florida area, which are who have lived or come from, which there are a lot of them. People like Tori Washington, Badass Vegan, Dr. Michael Clapper, all these individuals have had some sort of connection with South Florida. So there's plenty of guests to have on there. And then we have the Vegans Explore podcast, which I've been going back and forth on the format for that. But what I want to do is take vegans from very particular locations, all different types of people, and put them in a room and have a panel discussion on different topics in veganism. So you get different perspectives, you get to learn a little bit about each of them, and I'm excited about that platform. And then we have the Pre-Vegans podcast, which are going to be short daily episodes sharing the vegan origin stories of a lot of people that we've had on the podcast or that we would like to have. So it'll be good source of inspiration for people who want to start their journey, but maybe don't know what to do or how to do it. We'll also be answering questions that you have about starting your vegan journey, or you might even be a seasoned vegan like, I'd say seasoned vegan, a seasoned vegan like John, who maybe just needs some support on how to talk to their family members, how to, push them over that edge, or to speak to people what they work with, to let them know about their veganism. So there'll be a lot of tips and stuff for that. So obviously you have the Vegans Who Live podcast, so we'll be going into season 3. So we'll have all of this amazing content for you, as well as the soft launch, by the time you're listening to this, of Vegans Explore. So there'll be more information put out there about what we are, how you can support, because we're a nonprofit organization. Every penny that we make goes back into supporting the vegan community. And we're going to be in cities all over the world. Our goal is to be in 200 cities. I think I said it for the first time on this podcast last season. We're going to be in 200 cities by the end of 2025. And that's one of the main reasons I'm in LA right now. This is the headquarters, if you want to say it, for the United States of America, for the vegan community. And, if we can make a dent here, I know that we can make an impact everywhere. And I'm so excited to see where this is going to go. And you definitely will be hearing more about it in the weeks to come.
Can't wait.
Super excited. Yeah. We've got a couple of projects we're working on, and we're very excited.
Were you the season finale of last season as well, Sean?
Yes,
Yeah.
I was.
I think we've created a trend. We're just gonna have to keep this going. I'm sure it's cool to have your perspective, because I feel like you have the higher level overview. I mean, I've been vegan the longest, but I haven't been in that operational scene like you have, where you've been connecting and building that community out. So it's cool to have your insights and your vision. I wish I got started younger. Don't we all?
Seriously, with everything. It's like, damn, I wish I'd started lifting when I was like just out of the womb. I'd have so much muscle maturity by now.
Speaking of, one of my best friends, Alex Newton, he just had a kid, and his kid's like 6 months now, and he takes the kid to the gym with him, and the kid's like holding planks and stuff. I'm like, it's a baby, but this kid's gonna grow up in a gym. Yeah, like literally by 10 years old, he'll have been lifting for like 8 years, but it's cool. Start him young. Well,
nice.
What else do we got on the script, y'all? This is kind of going by.
I did want to touch on something real quick, and it's about the messy side of all of this. I feel like social media is really good about just showing the successes and being like, hey, this is I made this amazing progress. But for me, I'll just speak for myself. Everything is a learning process. It's like, where you want to go, and you think what it looks like, but until you start speaking to other people who have done it on a different level than you, then you realize there's another level. There's a couple of levels before you even got to where you think you were. And that's kind of where I am right now, full transparency mode. It's I'm definitely making a harder shift away from being a one man band and delegating and relying on the team that's around me. And the challenge with that is you can't always do it the way you want to do it, because it's easier just to do everything when you are controlling every single piece of it. But the challenge with that is it's not scalable. And if you're fine just working with one person or maybe five people on a very high level and that being it for the rest of your life, that's perfectly fine. But when you're looking at doing something like reaching 200 cities and each of those cities potentially having up to 1 million people that you're servicing, it gets to be a system that you can put somebody into a position to step up as a leader. And for me, this is another level than what I've been doing. I mean, for reference, I've been doing this for about 28 years now. Exactly what I'm doing right now in different industries, different reasons, different motivations. So it's the culmination of all that, of what we're putting out right now. And there's always another level to it. So I'm just saying all of this to say, like, if you're feeling frustrated, if you're feeling like you're hitting wall after wall after wall, appreciate that feeling, because that's the process. That's the growth. If it's easy, there's another level for you. You know,
Yeah.
if you and I was looking at John earlier when you gave him that title, Brooke, and I was going to say it, but I didn't say it. But if you hear something or somebody says something to you or challenges you to something, and it makes your butt pucker, that means it's on the right. You're on the right track. If it scares you and gives you pause, then you have a choice to let that pass or to step into courage and move forward with it. Because there's something there. It's usually the things that take us to that next level that we procrastinate on the most.
With
Oh, yeah.
respect and ultimate business professionalism, Sean, you have made my butt pucker a number of times. You tell me we're going to do something, and immediately every ounce of my being is like, no, 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 no. These are the million reasons why no. And I'm like, all right, let's do it. And I'm scared, and I'm like, I'm just going to trust the process. I think you hit the nail on the head. I think that's for life in general. If it's easy, it's probably not working the best for you. Whether that's competing, like Brooke trying to go pro, I had no clue what that meant. I'm still not even there, and I thought I'd be there 3 years ago. Business, same things. I think relationships too. I tell Allie all the time, you're not easy to be with, and that's one of the reasons I'm with you, because she constantly politely calls me out when I need to be called out, but also demonstrates, just the same way you do, Sean, and the same way you do, Brooke, a higher level, a higher being. And by being around that, I have two choices. Three, I can try and pull her down and make what she's doing less great so I feel better about myself. Or I could leave so I don't have this constant mirror of what I could be in front of me. Or the third option, which I'm working towards every day, is elevate myself and become a better person so that I can be belonging next to this person. I try and do that with the both of you. We all have our strengths, but you guys elevate me, and I'm genuinely so grateful. And yeah, if it's easy, I don't want it personally.
Same.
And
Yeah. You got to earn it. You really got to earn it.
yeah, I think about that a lot, actually. Like, if somebody gave me a pro card tomorrow, I'd be like, did I really work for this? Like, does it matter anymore? Like,
Yeah. I was just thinking about that in the car yesterday, because I remember in 2022 my coach wanted me to go to nationals, and I was like, God, I'm so glad I did not do that, because honestly, I didn't deserve it. Like, after the year that I've had and how much I've had to fight this time, I'm like, no. Like, I thought I worked hard and I thought I deserved it then, but I didn't. So yeah, I am like, it's exactly like you said. It just means more. It just means so much more when you've worked so hard for it and you've put your heart and your soul into it. And yeah, if it's too easy, you gotta take that shit to the next level.
And what I want to add to this conversation really quick is, with all that being said, how do you get past that? Because it's hard. And John laid it out perfectly. The three options you have when you are faced with those things. And for me, a big part of it is understanding who you are and reminding yourself of that. Okay, this is hard. And I'm the number one vegan brand strategist in the world. Would that person let this stop them? And I guess another way for me to frame that would be your why, which a callback from the last episode, well, 2 episodes ago. And like using that why to bring you back to center. Like, okay, this is what I'm up to. This is why it's important. Let me push through. So that's one thing. The next thing is, how does that look? You know, you have your why, but it's still hard. What's helped for me, and you guys talk about it all the time, and you guys are an example of this. Find a coach, find a mentor, find someone who's gone through this. They are your guide. It's like being in a field full of landmines, and you need to get to the other side. You have choices. You can walk through it very carefully, not knowing where the landmines are, potentially get blown up. You can really try to figure out, okay, well, I see a little dark patch here, so they must have walked there, and really put some thought into it, and maybe still step on the landmine. Or you can find somebody who laid the landmines, and they could tell you exactly where to go. Or you can find somebody who's a landmine expert who could tell you exactly what to do. Another option is you can jump into a plane and completely bypass the landmines. There's a lot of options, which the idea of the whole point of what I'm saying is you get to be strategic. If you're out of options, then guess what? Find somebody that has more options. And that's what a consultant is. You don't have to hire them forever. And to find the right consultant, you may just need to save up a little bit. But trust me, a 1-hour conversation with someone who knows the answer is so worth your time, because the amount of time you're going to spend trying to figure it out without knowing what you don't know will probably end up like equaling the same.
So true. I wish I could go back that first year. I decided I want to get in shape, and I wish I would have hired a coach, even as a broke college student. But I was just I'm like, I can figure this. They can't be too hard,
How hard can it be?
Right.
I have a Google degree. Sean, I was thinking helicopter, but plane would work too. I was like, I already got the next level. I already know I'm build a helicopter to get away from these damn landmines. But you're so right. And I just booked a half-hour call with someone who was looking to go plant-based. They had never heard of TVP. They had never tried tofu before. So like I was able to send them a YouTube video on how to cook tofu. Like I feel like in the most humblest way, I blew their mind on making this how easy it can be. And it might have taken them a couple of years to get there on their own. So hiring that expert, for me, I'll say this real quick. Like in bodybuilding, I have a couple bodybuilders that I've met in real life. My coach is one. Another guy's name is Justin O'Donnell. And when it's a really hard set, or when I feel like maybe I should give up today, or I'm really tired in this cardio, I think, how do they do it? What's their mindset? Do they give up when it's hard? Do they stop when they have 1 rep left in the tank, or when they have none? And I pretend I'm them for a little bit. Almost like putting on your Batman mask. Like I dress up as them in my head, and I go and I execute. And for activism, maybe I'll think of Robert Cheek. Like, what would he be doing right now? Would he be too tired to write this paragraph, or would he knock it out? And I think for me that mental, like, almost fake it till you make it, but like have your idols, have the people you want to be. And I think one day we're going to be able to all look back and be like, I redefined what my idol is. And I think that's going to be really cool. So, yeah.
This is nice.
All right.
This is nice and therapeutic.
Season 2. This was season
Yeah.
Wrapping up season 2. That's a wrap.
I have like
Yeah.
butterflies. I don't know why. I don't know if I'm excited or exhausted, but
No,
guys.
but yeah, just to let you guys know kind of what to expect. We're gonna bring you everything that you love about the Vegans Who Live podcast, exciting guests that we have on the way. We're gonna be bringing you, like we mentioned at the top, your questions that you guys get to submit. And we're also going to be doing a lot more traveling, whether it's the 3 of us, the 2 of us, 1 of us, Vegans Who Lift will be represented in your cities, and you will have the ability to really jump into this community that's being created, because it's more than just a show. It's more than just individuals talking about veganism and bodybuilding. It's a community. It's a movement of people who are looking to make a change, looking to make a difference, and we're using the hybrid of vegan and bodybuilding as a way to connect with you guys. So we appreciate you listening. We appreciate your support. If you listen to all the episodes and you haven't left a review yet, definitely do that on any of the platforms that you listen to. If you listen on Spotify, you listen on Google, why can't I say Apple? If you listen on Apple, just leave a review, because what it does, when people are looking for a podcast to look for and invest their time in, a lot of times they go to the reviews to see what people are saying. So your review will make a difference. So if that's the one thing you do, definitely leave a review so it can support this podcast. And then share if you like the episode. Don't hear all this. Don't share if you don't like the episode. But if you do like the episode, share it. That way, I'm not asking you to share things you don't want to share.
You also created multiple names for us. We have the Vegans Who Lift movement, because we lift weights, we lift emotions, we lift spirits, and we get out and we get movement. But this is a movement, and we're going to change the world with it. So thank you guys for your support. We wouldn't be here without a whole lot of people supporting us. There'd be no reason to do this if we didn't have a whole lot of y'all listening and sharing and supporting. So keep it up. Y'all keep doing it on your end, and until I'm old and my hair is white, I'm gonna keep doing it on mine. So Sean, Brooke, I love you both. This is best 2 seasons of any podcast I've done to date.
Likewise.
All
right.
I guess
So who gets the honors of closing it out?
nose goes.
Oh, Sean. Sean, give us a good one.
All right. So everybody, thank you so much for listening to the Vegans Who Live podcast with your host, John Thomas, the bodybuilding vegan, and Brooke Sellers, Miss Meatless Muscle. I'm Sean Russell, founder of Vegans Explore, and we look forward to having you join us next week on the Vegans Who Live podcast. And make sure you send this to
Alex's Goats.
See you guys next time.